Hey, welcome to another episode of Eric's Camping Adventures. Today we are getting ready for a new camping trip to a new spot. Looking at Idaho and the western edge of Wyoming, and maybe a trip up the backside of the Tetons for a little less commercialized view of that area of Wyoming. We're going to take a week of vacation and head up that direction, and we're going to try something a little bit different with our camping style this time. It includes being a little bit more of a minimalist while camping. So I'm not going to take anything for a wood fire. Too many wildfires, too dry, too hot this summer to do that. Maybe take a propane fire pit. But we're really going to cut back on how much we're taking. A couple reasons. One, we want to see if we can really have fun without all our stuff. Two, if something goes wrong on a camping trip, like a flat tire or a bad wheel bearing on the camping trailer, can I actually get another one at this point? So rather than engage the potential of a misfire, we're going to try minimalism and just see what happens. We're going to be on some national forest roads, but these are well-developed national forest roads, so we're going to have absolutely no need for off-roading equipment, and so that's all going to come off. It's actually pretty heavy, and things for my high lift jack, chain, all that stuff is coming out. Got to have your fly rods. This is my nice one, and then I'm going to take two backups, one for my wife and one just in case something goes bad. We will definitely be in some fly fishing country. There's a creek going right down the canyon where we're going to be staying, and I think the first couple days while we're adjusting to the elevation, that is where we're going to be spending our time. This is another little exercise in minimalism. You do not have to build a ladder to get up to the top of your vehicle. This is just a cheap little item off of Amazon. It's called a hay trip. It's got a little hook, goes in your door jamb. This rests against the jamb. This goes on the door latch. Hooks up real easy. I think everything on this side is going to go. First aid kit, tire patch kit, tool kit, small shovel, air pump, and some work gloves, and yeah, duct tape. This side's going to stay the way it is. The other side was a heavy one anyway, really going to cut down on the fuel efficiency with all that chain and everything on the other side, so I think this is going to do it. So the base of the fire pit is 17. The base of the tray on top of the pilot is 19. It's going to fit. It'll go right up over the cases. This is about 12.5 inches high. The cases are about 7 inches total in height, so it'll be about 5 inches higher than the cases. Shouldn't really interfere with anything. Just got to make sure I secure it down good. It's going to be a little heavy and awkward getting it up on top of the pilot, but I think if I take the lava rock out, put it in a separate container, it's going to be just fine. So I think we're going to be taking the propane fire pit and probably the 20-pound propane tank. I think this will be good. So the first leg of this trip is going to start in Tulsa and end in the Arapaho National Recreation Area at Lake Granby, and we'll be at the Stillwater Campground. Look at that view. The second leg of this trip goes from the Stillwater Campground to the Teton Canyon Campground, just right at the edge of the Jedediah Smith Wilderness Area, right outside of Jackson, Wyoming. That's the view. I made some overlapping reservations for Gros Ventre Campground in the Grand Teton National Park. Beautiful view there as well. On the first leg of the return trip, we'll pass through southeast Wyoming and head to the Crow Valley Recreation Area in the Pawnee National Grasslands in eastern Colorado. Another beautiful place. So last I want to talk to you about being in bear country. Being in bear country does have some special considerations, and they're not difficult considerations, but I would recommend that you maybe read a book, maybe watch some YouTube videos, just familiarize yourself with the concepts. In particular, in the wilderness area where we're going to be at, the Jedediah Smith Wilderness Area, and in Teton National Park, you're going to be dealing with the brown bear factor, which is slightly different from black bears. So a couple differences between black bears and brown bears. Black bears tend to be more reclusive, more timid. They don't want to encounter you. However, if a black bear does attack you or charges you, in the case of a black bear, you want to fight back with anything that you have: a rock, a stick, bear spray, a gun if you carry it. If you don't have anything with you, find something and fight back. That is about the only way that you can end a black bear attack. Black bears, you'll notice they have kind of a crease here, and they do not have a hump on their back. They have a flat. They can still come in brown, they can come in cinnamon, they can come white, and then the most common is the black, and then they have the brown nose. A brown bear is a little bit different. They have a little smoother transition between the snout and the face. They're brown, they're bigger, and they have the hump on the back. The brown bear is not as reclusive. The brown bear is different in the case of an attack. If you have nothing on you, you don't have bear spray, you don't have a firearm, once they encounter you, you need to play dead immediately. That is how you're going to survive a brown bear attack, is by playing dead. Do not fight back. They will continue to attack you until they believe that you no longer have capacity to be a threat either to their cubs, that would be the worst situation, or to their potential food source that they want. Again, difference between brown bear and black bear, and if you've seen pictures, familiarize yourself with the difference between them, but they're different and you need to handle them differently. Again, black bear is timid, but if they attack, they're going to attack you and you need to fight back. With a grizzly bear, you need to play dead almost immediately upon the physical encounter with the brown bear. The biggest issue with safety in bear country is food storage. This is a bear resistant cooler by Igloo. It's a Sportsman, and it has the seal right here that says Certified Bear Resistant Interagency Grizzly Bear Committee. So it has like a seal number and certification number down at the bottom. Your cooler should have that insignia and label on it to be used in bear country. Don't be fooled by a cheap imitation. Okay, so one of the reasons these are used is this clasp system keeps the bear out. You take it, you put a lock right here, it's not going to get it open. The other neat thing about these types of coolers is it has a hermetic seal all along the edge that seals smells inside, and that's one of the benefits of the bear resistant cooler. When you store this, it should be inside your vehicle, inside of your hard-walled camper. Do not store this in your tent. If you store this in your tent, there is a risk of the bear smelling it and the bear coming in your tent, or the smells from your food being in your tent, and then when you sleep at night and you're vulnerable, you may experience something you don't want to happen. Now, I'll be honest with you, my wife and I and our kids have been very careful about principles of being in bear country, and we have only seen bears from a great distance of like a half mile or more. Once we saw one swimming across a creek in Glacier, and another time in East Glacier we saw one just across on a mountainside. So these principles can work, and you can keep bears away from you. Do not ever try to attract a bear so that you can video them or photograph them. That is not going to work out. Either it may not, it may work out for you at the moment, but it may habituate the bear that the next time someone is in your campsite or where you're located with food, they may come back a little bit more prepared to take what you have. Bears learn, bears become habituated, and for the safety of both yourself and for the bear, make sure you follow principles of food storage in bear country. The same thing goes for garbage storage. Do not store your garbage any place but in a trash receptacle designed to keep bears out so they don't enjoy your trash and come back for more. Make sure you, again, follow the principles of food storage, the same with your trash. So last for preparation, I want to talk to you about protection from bears during a bear encounter. And this is a can of bear spray. You should familiarize yourself with it. Some of them come with a little fabric holster like this one does. Check the expiration date at the bottom. Mainly that's going to be for the expiration of the aerosol or the gas that's in it to push the bear spray out. The concept behind the bear spray is that you're spraying a very large, broad cloud of capsaicin into the air, about 30 feet deep, 30 feet wide, and it creates a capsaicin cloud that the bear runs into and encounters before it encounters you. Now, research on this is actually very good. You don't have to be super coordinated. You don't have to be a good shot. All you have to be able to do is pull this clip off easily, depress the trigger, and you've got spray. It's relatively quick, and according to research, it's actually very effective. I do not know of cases where this has been deployed properly and someone has been killed. The research reflects 100% survival rate. Yes, you can be still injured by the bear, but it's going to lose heart pretty quickly when the capsaicin takes effect and it's run into the cloud of capsaicin. Some people don't necessarily feel very comfortable with bear spray. They make the argument, well, I'll get it on myself. My response to that is, yes, it will burn you and it will sting you. I have been stung by it before, not because of deploying with a bear, but because I practiced with it before using it. I made sure the wind was at my back when I practiced with it, and I still had the feeling of a good sunburn on my skin after practicing with it. A sunburn on your skin, or even some mild upper respiratory or major upper respiratory reaction to bear spray, you're still alive. That's the difference. You might say, well, I've got breathing problems. Well, my response to that would be, I'm not sure that folks with breathing problems are hiking at elevation in brown bear country very frequently, so I'm going to go with this for my own personal safety, period. Now, I will tell you that this is my primary choice. It is not my only choice. There are people who carry guns regularly in the backcountry, and I have done that in a remote setting. In regards to a bear attack in backcountry or the front country, I want to discourage you from thinking that just because you have a hammer, everything is a nail. The research is better on your survival rate with bear spray than with a firearm. If you're going to carry a gun in bear country, you need to make sure that it is a gun that is actually sufficient to do the job. Brown bears have extremely thick bones, thick ribs, thick skull. You cannot penetrate these with a personal defense handgun that you might consider carrying for concealed carry for your personal protection. A grizzly bear is a very large animal, a very large boned animal, and you do need you need to carry a gun that's effective for a brown bear. For me personally, I have chosen a .44 Magnum. I'm using gun safety to display this with you. I have the cylinder open and displaying that there's no rounds in it. Now, don't carry a gun without understanding gun safety first. And if you think that this is a just something that's going to rescue you and you're going to be the hero, you're making a big mistake about that. I have seen lots of people over the years who have tried to draw and shot their leg, damage their nerves, and will never get the function back in their muscles in their lower leg because they've shot themselves basically in the shin and damaged the peroneal nerve. It's very common. I saw that a lot when concealed carry was first coming out. You really don't want to do that with a weapon that is going to be effective on a brown bear. This is a .44 Magnum, and these are grizzly bear rounds. One thing you do not want to make a mistake with a brown bear is carrying a hollow point. Hollow points are designed for personal protection, not related to a four-legged animal. This is a broad wad cutter, 255 grains. It is designed to penetrate the bone of a grizzly bear, either their skull, to penetrate through the spine, to make sure it gets through the rib to the vital organs. And that's absolutely essential in brown bear country. You cannot think that you're going to carry like a .380 auto, a 9mm. The smallest might be a .357 with some high-powered ammunition, again with the same concept of a broad wad cutter. Don't go out there with a regular handgun and think that's going to protect you. That's just going to make the bear angry and more likely to completely finish you off. I choose to carry this for one reason. I recognize that on occasion my coordination is not great, and I recognize that the coordination of my hiking partners is not always at peak. So if my hiking partner does not deploy this properly, accurately, get this little safety off, get it deployed in time at the bear, I will then be dealing with a situation where I am possibly to the side of the bear and my hiking partner is being mauled by the bear. That is where I believe the gun is probably a better option, because I don't believe this is going to create a cloud from the side of the bear that they can then run into. Obviously, I'm to the side of the bear. So I would use this in the case where my hiking partner was being mauled and I was to the side of them. That way I could end the mauling. Again, that's my choice. Those are my thoughts on it. But if I had to only take one, I would take this, because I don't have the breathing problems. I don't have any concern about this except a very bad sunburn. And the other issue is this, and you have to understand this, that when a bear attacks you, it is not going to be holding still like a target. A bear may raise up aggressively and stand up tall to display itself to you. It may just simply charge. It may do a bluff charge if it's a grizzly bear. But if it actually does a charge and it intends to kill you or incapacitate you, you need to recognize that it's going to be bounding and bouncing up and down as it runs towards you. And that's going to create a problem for a gun. Not a problem for this because it's 30 feet wide and 30 feet deep. Trying to target a bear in a vital spot while it is bounding, it is an exercise in what you call dysmetria, where you cannot actually target accurately and timely enough to discharge your weapon while you're trying to track the bounding of the bear. It's total chance, and with this .44 Magnum I only get 5 chances and not very many seconds for that bear to close the distance between it and me. I choose a 30-foot cloud. That's not what I would choose to the side of my hiking partner. So again, those are how I process being in bear country. To be honest with you, I think if you take care of this first, take care of your food storage, your trash storage, you're going to eliminate 99% of the problem. And then the rest of it is up to this, and rarely, and very infrequently, up to a firearm. So those are my thoughts on preparing for bear country. I will be taking my food storage method. I'll be taking my bear spray, and yes, I'll still be taking this, but I recognize the limitations of the firearm dealing with a brown bear, and recognize the human limitations that we all just don't have the ability to track a bounding grizzly bear with a round that's this big and hope to hit a vital spot. So those are my thoughts. I hope that you are ready for your next adventure, and if you're considering being in brown bear country or bear country period, that you make sure you use appropriate safety precautions with your food and in your personal protection. So hey, thanks for joining me for another episode of Eric's Camping Adventures. I hope you come back for some more. If you liked the video and you followed it through this long, hit that subscribe button and come back for some more. I'm 1/2 inches high, so we're pretty much set to load this on top